I've been talking for so long. This is going to be a bastard to edit. Hello and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Zoe. I hope that you are hydrated and you are eating your greens. I'm starting yet another series on my channel. If you have been with me for a while, you will know that what I tend to do is start a series and then I quit quite quickly. But hopefully, because of the subject matter of this here series, I will actually manage to stick to it. I thought I would combine two of my favourite things in the world, which is movies and food. And this series will, for now, be called Movies and a Mukbang. Mukbangs, if you don't know what they are, it's just like an eating show that originated from Korea. We'll be predominantly focused on just movies, good ones, bad ones, Netflix ones. I particularly like bad ones recently. My memory isn't the greatest, and if I've watched something I've really liked or watched something that is particularly bad, I like talking about them with people. And so I took it upon myself to write them down. There's also this app called Letterboxd, I think, and you can note down all the films you've watched and see reviews and stuff. And my sister introduced it to me and I've been obsessed with it. If I was to be anything else other than what I did in uni, I probably would have been a film student. Something in that realm, I feel. We might expand it more. We'll see where it goes. So yeah, that is a really long introduction to what this will be. On today's menu is these instant noodles that I've been obsessed with. This is our noodles of choice. It's just got them as the kimchi noodles. I added sesame seeds and then I boiled some green beans and added like garlic pepper to them, and then it's just a bit of kimchi and it smells so good. Let's start by trying it out. I've already had these before. Maybe I was like, oh, these are sticky today. Can you not coagulate? Mm-mm. Oh, so good. They're like a tiny bit spicy, but not too spicy. Oh. I'm realising this might be difficult to do because I have to talk a lot. Alright, let's get on to the film choice of today. This movie is called No Good Deed. At the time that this was filmed, No Good Deed was in the top 8 Netflix thing. You know how you have your top UK Netflix whatever thing. I saw No Good Deed and I saw Idris Elba was in it. I saw that Taraji P. Henson was in it. I've never watched anything of hers really. I saw that other fit dude is in all those black films all the time, those thriller movies, and that was in it. And I saw 2014, which was just a premium time for cinema in general. I was also in my feelings. I was just feeling like a bit down, and what I do when I'm feeling down is I watch really shit movies and take the piss out of them. This video will contain spoilers. Obviously I will be going through the film in like a commentary fashion. It's less of a review and more of me taking the key points, going through the whole thing and just taking the piss. So if you actually have a desire to watch it, go ahead, go do that. Open up Netflix, go do that, come on back, we'll have a little chin wag about it. If you don't care, which most of you probably don't, keep in mind this film got a 12% on Rotten Tomatoes. Then stick around and I'll give you all the information that you require. I'll give you a quick old, it's not going to be quick, a slow old synopsis and that. Food break. How do you combine food and talking? How do people do it? I guess people that usually do mukbangs don't talk, so I'm definitely going to move this to the floor. I'm almost finished already. It wasn't that much. There's only one packet. Maybe I should have had two. I've got so many green beans in there. Alright, so film starts off with Colin Evans, who is Idris when he was hot, who is up for parole after serving 5 years for manslaughter. This guy killed one man and 5 other women, and he's up for parole. Does justice really exist? I don't know. Colin uses his so-called charm to assuage the other parole people don't know what they're called, saying he's taught the prisoners how to read, some of the prisoners how to read, saying that he's a good guy. One of the parole officers is like, you're full of shit, you're a narcissist, you're mad, we're not granting you parole. Colin goes through this like weird fuzzy, it's like a fuzzy scene where he's like enraged over being just denied parole. He's being driven back to jail and somehow fakes a bloody nose. Don't know how he did that. Maybe it was ketchup. I don't know where he got the blood from. He uses his charm again on the old prison guard and is like, I need a tissue, my nose is bleeding. Somehow manages to kill them both. We are then taken to Terry Granger, who's played by Taraji P. Henderson. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Who is typical stay-at-home mom of two. Terry is doing typical mom-like things and her best friend Meg strolls on in, says you look hella stressed and suggests a night of wine and debauchery, as best friends usually do. Later on, Jeffrey, the husband of Terry, typical man trash behaviour, comes in, doesn't really look at her, gives her like the kiss on the cheek shit, packs a bag and says he's going off to celebrate his dad's birthday. We now switch over back to Colin. This is all building up to something, I promise, stay around. Colin is now in Atlanta and he's stalking his ex, as you fucking do. His ex is called Alexis and he sees her hugging some mysterious guy. Colin obviously has a problem with women going after what is his. That's what got him in jail in the first place, I believe. So he then proceeds to break into Alexis's house somehow. She comes back, sees him, freaked out obviously. He's like, oh, you said you'd wait for me, in a very American southern accent. He finds a note that says, I didn't want to wake you, you look so beautiful lying down. Obviously not left by him, it was left by this other guy that she's seeing. At first she's like in denial, she's like, no, I did wait, I was only here for you. I go up to the bedroom and she's like, yes, I slept with him. I slept with someone else. I don't know what this was. Which proceeds to Colin getting angry, then strangles Alexis, then just snaps her neck. You know when you need to get spaghetti to fit inside a pot. That's what her neck was. It's just snapped. It sounded like snapping spaghetti. Anyway, Alexis is dead. Big old storm is going on. Colin is driving, crashes into a tree, and then goes to look for help and ends up at Terry's house. At this point, right, I'm gonna take a little food break because it's about to get annoying. I feel like this would be easier to do with like fast food, like finger foods, because with noodles it takes so long to put the noodles in my mouth and eat them. Colin is at Terry's house. We all know what the fuck she's gonna do. She's gonna be an idiot. And you're telling Terry, you best not let this man into your house. In your head you're like, Terry, don't do this. He's a stranger, you don't know where he's come from. He's got a cut on his head. Don't do that. She does. Eventually, with not enough hesitation, eventually lets him in because he's a fit guy. She was fueled by the pussy. Terry then proceeds to tend to a wound on Colin's forehead. You know this is a very intimate scene because anytime that anyone is tending to a wound in a film or a TV show, it's always so intimate because you're right up in their grill. She even allows Colin to interact with her daughter, who's called Ryan. It's all weird. There's obviously some kind of like sexual chemistry brewing at this moment. Colin then mentions that he found out that his ex-fiancée, which is Alexis, aka Uncooked Spaghetti, snapped Uncooked Spaghetti, was cheating on him. Meg, the earlier best friend of Terry, comes over for the aforementioned debauchery and wine, and they all share some wine with Colin. She's kind of attracted to Colin and they just accept that they're going to share some wine together. So I'm kind of happy that she's there, so at least Terry has a little bit of protection. Terry goes upstairs to tend to her babes. She has a little kid, so she has Ryan, her daughter, and then Sam, who's a baby. And Meg and Colin go out to the garage to have a smoke. Things go a bit pear-shaped again at this point. Meg asks Colin if anything is going on between him and Terry, and he's all coy and says nothing. At that point he should have been like, nothing's going on, don't worry about it, but we know he's mad. So she comes to her own conclusion and assumes that Terry and Colin are having an affair, and Meg's upset that Terry hasn't said this to her. For some reason Meg completely believes him, though he said nothing really. He hasn't said that they've had an affair. She just assumes, she's made assumptions. He said nothing, he's just, that's also an issue as well. So she's like, I'm gonna go confront Terry. Colin then grabs a shovel from his inventory. Don't know where it came from. It's just like, whoop, shovel. Smacks her upside the head and drags her dead body. This is gonna be difficult. I'm gonna have to find a way to do both. I don't know how. I'm surprised it's not cold yet. This bowl is very good at insulating heat. Meg has been whacked to death. That's happened. Colin tells Terry that Meg has left And she's like, okay. But then Terry notices that Meg's umbrella has been left behind and it's raining. Only then do alarms go off in the head. Not the fact that this man has been trawling around the house for time, that's an issue in the first place. But only then she's like, oh, there must be something wrong. Something's going on and this guy has something to do with it. Colin has been perusing around the house, taking knives, storing it in his inventory alongside the shovel that was earlier used. He cut all the telephone lines. And Terry runs upstairs to see that this psycho is playing with her daughter, Brian. As I've mentioned, they're just playing like some little game and she's freaked out. Correctly so. At the time that he's playing with Ryan, Terry also noticed that he has a gun in his back pocket. They then both walk outside and Terry then grabs a fire extinguisher, maybe also from her inventory, sprays Colin and then hits him upside the head and he falls down the stairs as well for good measure. He's not only been hit, he falls down the stairs and hits his head along the banister as well. Looks like he's unconscious or dead. However, Colin is not from here, from Earth. So he gets up as if he's not fallen down the stairs, not even a bit disoriented. Terry is trying to pick up her kids to leave and he brings out his gun and is like, you better put those kids back down. And he tells her to follow her to the shower, where he then proceeds to wash the foam residue from her earlier attack. I assume he's completely naked while she's just standing there. Creepy fucking scene. Did not like that. Jumping ahead a bit, he's washed off, he's changed, and then they're in the bedroom and Terry whacks him with a lamp. And somehow she's got a knife. I don't know where she got it from. I don't know where. Anyway, and stabs him in the side. She then runs to fetch her kids again to leave, but Colin is still fine because again, he's not of this earth. He catches up to her and tells her to grab her kids and for all of them to get in the car. They're driving along, a police car comes by and Terry flashes her lights to alert the police, and Colin doesn't really notice this happening. The police then puts his alarm on, they stop, and Colin grabs baby Sam, the babes from earlier, and holds on to him and is like, if you do anything, baby Sam dead. Terry comes out and tries to like give little signals to the police officer. The police officer clocks and is like trying to figure out a way to not alert Colin. He also clocks and as you can guess where this is going, because this is Colin we're talking about, he shoots the police officer. I really thought Terry was going to get out at that point. I thought that was like it. They then drive to earlier Alexis Spaghetti's house and I need to stop. And at this point I was wondering, why would he return to the scene of the crime? You've just killed your ex-fiancée and now you're taking a woman. So obviously that was where Terry was going to be killed alongside with her kids. It's all mad. Alexis's body is still there and Colin ties up Terry and pops her next to Alexis and puts the kids in like another room. And at this point, by the grace of God, the car alarm goes off. Shall we take another? I'm trying to stuff the rest of it because I'm nearing the end, so I have to get more in my mouth. That's what she said. No. Oh, I did those green beans so good. I cooked them fucking perfectly. Goodness me. So Colin's popped out to go turn off the car alarm. At this point, Alexis's phone starts ringing. And from some smashed glass, Terry manages to cut herself free from the bonds that Colin has put on her. Don't know how she managed to do it in time. Maybe it's adrenaline again. When you're in situations like that, I guess you feel much stronger than you usually are. Manages to get to the phone in time and picks up. A man's voice answers the phone. I'm gonna give you a second to guess who this man's voice was. I'm gonna give you a little bit while I eat them. Guess who the man's, so just guess. Me, I didn't see this coming really. Not entirely. I semi did because I was like, what's the purpose of this man? Guess. It's fucking Jeffrey. Oh my goodness. I really was quite surprised. All the pieces have finally come together. We're finally at that part of the film where everything makes sense. All our theories have been answered. And the lying, cheating ass that is Jeffrey has been seeing Alexis. Yeah, this whole time. So he wasn't going to his dad's birthday. He's just seeing this woman. Colin had figured this out on the little note that that Jeffrey had left for Alexis earlier in the film. That's how we ended up at Terry's house. His intention was to go and kill Jeffrey for sleeping with his ex-fiancée. Terry figures this all out and realizes that it's Jeffrey on the phone, and he's like, you better call the police, Alexis is dead, soz. A bit pissy about it, obviously, and at some point she managed to hide her kids in the wardrobe, and then she's gotten ready to fight Colin, grabbed a knife from her inventory. They're in a tussle, manages to somehow knock Colin out. He looks like he's unconscious. It's a really difficult word to say. And we get like a little cheeky jump scare where Luke Cage's younger brother, aka Colin, whilst he's been hit so many times on the head, grabs Terry, trips her up by the ankle. She manages to grab his gun across the room and bang until he falls out the window, because he doesn't, one shot isn't enough, you have to hit him many times because he is Luke Cage's younger brother, and he falls out a window, and I think that's what finally kills him. He's dead. We got him. Colin's dead. Terry killed him. All good, all is good in the world. This film ends with the police coming in, and man like Jeff tries to apologize to no avail, and she ends up punching him in the face, rightly so, because he is trash. And if it wasn't for him not keeping his dick in his pants, they wouldn't have ended up in the situation they were in. His kids and his wife almost died because he couldn't keep his penis inside his pants and only inside his wife. So keep it in your pants, boys and girls, or whatever you present as. Present? You know what I mean. Terry has moved out of the house, and she's moved out with her kids, and she's now, I think they went to law school. She went to law school with Jeffrey, and now she gets to work again. It's all happily ever sunsets and rainbows and that. And that's it. So it was alright. It wasn't bad. It was what I expected it to be. It was going to be a typical obsession stalker film. I'd give it like a 4 out of 10, if that, maybe a 3. It was good. It served me for the purpose of like making me feel better, which is what I wanted. I had a good time. That is the video. A long one because it's the first one. I want to make them a bit shorter. But that was quite a doozy of a film, but I'm gonna have to figure out a way to go through the whole film without it being long. But I like to talk. Feel free to leave me some films that I should dabble in. I'm very open. I will watch anything. The next one I'm gonna do is probably gonna be a Tyler Perry one. I'm sad to admit this, but I've never watched a Tyler Perry movie. I don't think I've watched one, which as a black woman is poor. But I've just never been enthralled by, he does a lot of comedies, right? I finished everything. It was delicious. I think next time I'm going to do something a bit more easy that I can, and I'm going to move so you can see the food at the same time, because it's not a mukbang if you can't see what I'm eating. But you know, trial and error and all that. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave me a thumbs up and comment and share. I shall see you soon in my next video. Bye!